down. I don't think
Alistair Johnston.
I don't think your paper should be having a pathetic attempt to shoot a story down that has been led elsewhere by a lot of other broadcast organisations.
Did Alistair Johnston shoot your story down?
He certainly did not.
Of course, but do you read the quotes? I did not say Rangers.
To the man personally.
I did not say Rangers would go bust.
I know he didn't say. He nodded his head in agreement.
But it then said I did not say Rangers would go bust. Look, well, here's the question. Here's the question.
Jim, listen to me. I never said at any point Rangers would go bust. He said Rangers could go bust. There's a big difference. You are now saying would go bust.
You said Alistair Johnston admitted Rangers could go bust. Correct. That's your intro. He said I did not say that. That's his direct quote.
No, he didn't say. He nodded his head in agreement to the question and then talked about it.
The question now is, are you calling Alistair Johnston a liar?
I'm calling people who...
Are you calling him a liar when he says, I did not say Rangers could go bust?
No, I'm not calling him a liar because he nodded his head in agreement to the question, therefore he didn't say it.
So then he's replied to, when he's asked the question,
are you a professorship in semantics now?
Are you calling him a liar? Because he said he didn't admit it at all.
He said to you he didn't admit it at all?
Yes.
Well, in that case, yes, yes.
You're calling us a liar.
So hold on, can I just clarify that? You Jim, hold on, let me just clarify that, Jim, that you asked Alistair Johnston, did you nod your head? And he said no.
No. I said, did you indicate that the Rangers could go bust? And he said no. And the quote is in the paper. The quote's there saying, I never said it. So in that case, you're saying Alistair Johnston is a liar. You're saying Alistair Johnston is a liar. Yes or no?
Either I am or he is.
Right, Ronnie.
Well, okay then. He says he didn't say it. Are you saying he's lying?
But Chick, hold on. Chick has never said that he said it. Chick has said that he nodded his head in answer to the question: are Rangers potentially in a situation where they could go out of business?
His intro said he admitted it.
Well, I think I nodded my head in agreement to the question is admitting it.
I'm sorry, Chick, you're calling the man a liar. Is that what you're doing here? Let's establish that. It's very simple.
No, one person is telling lies here because that doesn't fit. It's either me or him.
Well, hold
on. I have 6 other witnesses in the room, professional journalists with me.
So it must be him then, you're saying.
Right, okay, hold on. One of them he's on the line now. Roddy, you were at both news conferences yesterday, I think, correct? You're at Ibrox this afternoon as well?
Yes, I was in the daily conference and also at the broadcast conference.
Just for the sake of Chick's sanity, did Alistair Johnston nod his head in response to the question, are Rangers in danger of going out of business should the financial situation pile up against them?
The question was more blunt than that. It was asked by Raman Bardwaj of Scottish Television. The question was, can Rangers go bust? And Alistair Johnston nodded his head, and there was a supplementary quote. Chick's got my copy of the Telegraph, so I can't read it out to you till he hands it over, but there was a supplementary quote which I took a shorthand note of, and that was, apart from the £10,000 gorilla, he said, even accessing all the resources we have access to, we couldn't pay the bill.
Right. Does that say, therefore, we will go bust?
He was answering a direct question.
Roddy, you know, listen, that quote there means, could it mean they could be looking at administration?
Well,
or liquidation?
I'll answer this. You were at the broadcast. You were at the daily conference, and I thought he played a blinder, Alistair, actually, I must say. And I will give credit where it's due. There was yourself and Keith Jackson. I thought you asked very pointed questions, and at one point, you'll remember, I said to him, if you did not have European money over the past 2 years, at what level would Rangers be trading at? Would they be in administration? And he was quite clear in his answer to that. He said they wouldn't be in administration, but they'd be trading at a level that Rangers Football Club should not be trading at. So specific.
Exactly.
Now, in the next case, he's asked, down the stairs, if this happens, i.e. there's no white knight, and if the HMRC case goes against you to the worst extent, would the club or could the club go bust? He nods his head. Right. So he's right to say he didn't say it, but he did nod his head, and I cannot believe anybody in that room did not believe what they were saying.
Jim, had you been there, would you have taken that as an assent? Yes.
Yes, I would. Yes. I would have thought. I would have looked at that nod and said, "Hold on," and then I would have said, "Look, are you saying because you need the quote?" If you're going to do that story, you need that quote, and that's the next thing I would have said. As we said, as Roddy rightly said, we were both at the press conference, and we asked him a question about, I think it was a Monday deadline for Craig White to do his business or go away officially by close of play on Monday. Now, I revisited that at the end because that's an important line to say to him, look, are we clear on this? You are saying close of play on Monday, that's it, that's the deadline. He said, yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would have done in that media conference. You need clarification on it.
Jim,
because you leave them the option or the opportunity to come out and say something
But
different.
Jim, he has the quote. There's a £10,000 £10,000 gorilla in the room. You don't know what the appetite is. Even accessing all the resources we have access to.
Yes,
we couldn't.
Roddy, and does that say they will go bust?
It's in response to the question.
But does that say they'll go bust?
Well, he nods his head, and that's the supplementary evidence.
Could that say, because you're in the press one, and he's talking about, he even talked away from administration, although I think administration is a distinct possibility. Hold on. That quote doesn't back up an intro saying that they will go bust. That quote might lead you to think
nobody said they would go bust.
I'm not saying he's going bust. Chick's not saying he's going bust.
I'll calm down.
Hold on. Let's one at a time. Let Roddy finish.
I think it's fair to say nobody is saying the club will go bust. But the chairman opened the door, as they say in American crime programs. He opened the door to that evidence, and he appeared to back it.
And what I'm saying to you, and to Chick, and to the other broadcast media people who are in the room, is that I think if I'd have been your boss, I would have wanted you to come back with the quote. Hold on, Chick, I'll let you come in a second. I'm saying to you that when he nods, you need, and you know, you need that quote to back it up. You don't have the quote to back it up at all.
Even accessing all the resources,
did you ask him
can't pay the bill.
Did you ask him at any point when you went back to him to clarify the story you'd missed? Did you ask him had he nodded his head in agreement to the question?
No. Why should I? I asked him if he...
Presumably, Jim, you'd read my copy in the online...
I asked him...
So you didn't think to ask him the question that I had said had led to the headline?
No, hold on, Chick. When you didn't ask the obvious question after he nodded, he said, don't lecture me in asking questions.
Let
me finish.
Let me finish. That would reconcile both
finish.
Right, hold on, Roddy. Let Jim go and then we'll come to you.
Let me finish. There is nothing, absolutely nothing in your story, no quotes, to back up the suggestion or your intro that he admitted they could go bust. No quotes at all.
I beg to differ.
Right, and Roddy, your suggestion
is? My feeling is that Alistair, after having a longer than he expected, I think, session with both the dailies and the broadcast, I should point out that this quote came, the quote, or not the quote, but the nodding of the head and the quote about we could not pay the bill, came at the very end of both of these sessions. I thought he'd done ever so well, but we must remember there are stock exchange rules. He didn't say. He's absolutely right, Jim, you're right. He did not say it, and I think what bothered Rangers was the fact that the nod of assent became broadcast, was quickly disseminated, and they realised that stock exchange rules said that should not have happened.
That's fine, and I would just like to clarify one thing again. Yep. The Daily Record is not saying Chick Young lied or the BBC lied. The Daily Record merely carried the quotes from Alistair Johnson, and it's interesting to note that Chick Young, early in the programme, is now saying that Alistair Johnson must have lied.
He didn't actually.
Well, yes, he did
say that Alistair Johnson had lied.
Before he said one of us is lying, he said, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Jim, in your traditional style, you'll grab 3 words and use them when the facts of the matter become totally irrelevant to you. Are you prepared to make a public apology to the BBC and to me about your papers?
Chick, I would never ever question Chick Young's integrity. Never. His professional integrity. Chick, let me finish. I would never question it. I remember you when you were at the top of your game in the Evening Times. Sadly, we lose it. Some of us can't hack it. Chick,
I'm not prepared to make an apology.
Yes, what I'm prepared to say
to the BBC and to me.
What I'm prepared to say to you is that I would never question your integrity. Your competence, yes, question it regularly. The BBC don't deserve an apology. We didn't say they got it wrong. We didn't say they're liars. We didn't say you're a liar. Alistair Johnson's quotes were carried in the paper. The matter is not with the Daily Record and the BBC. It's not between you or myself. The matter lies with the BBC, Chick Young and Alistair Johnston.
Well, I would beg to differ with all of that, of course, and if you feel that's how you want to leave it, then you will leave it in that way.
Right, I'll come back to
Chick.
Jim, hold on, I'll come back to Chick. Jim, can you clarify that I think the exact phrase was the BBC wrongly reported the news conference, or what happened at the news conference? You'd clarify that particular phrase.
Well, that's what Alistair Johnson's saying, isn't it? He's giving us quotes to say, that's not what I said, therefore the story is perfectly entitled to read BBC wrongly reported.
So you wouldn't then go and check... Hang on, you wouldn't then... I don't think a good reporter would then go and check with the other source, the person who's then been wronged, in this case me.
Yes, and
someone from your newspaper might have come and asked me, did in fact that happen? I don't remember anyone from your newspaper calling me yesterday.
Can answer that as well. They probably don't think you're competent enough.
I think we'll leave it there then, will we?
I think that'd be a good idea from your point of view, yes.
Let's clarify. I want to clarify with you, Chick, because Jim is clearly trying to get you into bother by suggesting that you're calling Alistair Johnston a liar. Let's just get this clear. What I think, well, you tell me. If Jim posed the question to you regarding Alistair Johnston, if